Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Pooja. I'm an integrative nutritionist and I work with women who have hormonal issues. And this is a new series that I'm starting today. This is a series that is going to be on Pranayam or breathwork that we do, and its impact on how we can improve our hormones by doing regular Pranayam at home. I'm also doing this series in Hindi. So there will be a separate playlist for that, and if you think that Hindi would be a better medium for you and you would want to access these videos in Hindi, then there will be a separate playlist for that, so you can always access exactly the same video in Hindi on my separate playlist. We're going to do this series and it's going to have at least 8 to 10 episodes. We're going to start with the basics of what is Pranayam, why is it important, what does it do, and then we will move on to the other issues, hormonal issues like PCOS, or women who are going for an IVF and they want to prepare their body, what kind of Pranayam they should do. Women who have a lot of mood swings, depression or anxiety, what sort of Pranayam they should do and incorporate that in their life. Those are the things that I'm going to be covering in this series. So let's start. As this is my first episode, I thought that this episode I'm going to do on explaining you what is the scientific reason why Pranayam actually works on you so well, what does it actually does on your body that your hormones get balanced, and how it improves your vitality over a period of time. Pranayam is actually a part of the full yoga that we do. There are 3 aspects to yoga. The first one being the asana that we do, a lot of different types of poses that we do to open our energy channels and to make ourselves physically fit. Now the second aspect, which is very important aspect of yoga, is to then sit for 15 to 20 minutes and do some breath work, which is pranayam. This is basically targeted at your emotional well-being. So the yoga asanas are mainly designed to give you physical fitness. The second part of yoga, which is the breath work, actually gives you more mental well-being. It is catered towards your mental well-being and your emotional well-being. It works on your mind, and then once you have become physically stable and you've become mentally stable, then the third part, which is the meditation part, is when you sit and focus. And this is where your spiritual journey starts. This is where your spiritual upliftment happens. This is where you sit and you discover more things about yourself. But if you are too emotionally unstable or there's too much going on in your head, or physically you can't sit still for 20-25 minutes, then how would you actually sit and do meditation? So the idea of pranayam and doing a lot of yoga asana is that you should have the ability to then be able to sit for 15-20 minutes and do meditation. These are the 3 aspects of yoga that we need to cover, and we should be doing all these 3. But what is getting missed these days is the pranayam aspect. So there are a lot of people who are doing a lot of intensive yoga, a lot of different poses. They are also doing a lot of guided meditation, but somewhere in middle the pranayam is getting lost, and that is where the problems like mood swings, anxiety, panic attacks, depression, all these are coming because we are not actively working on our emotional and mental well-being. Now I'm going to explain you how pranayam actually works scientifically. What does it actually do that you become emotionally more better and you're more stable, more calmer, and also become more vital over a period of time. So first and foremost, what pranayam does is that when you are taking deep and long breaths, because that's what we do in pranayam and breath work, that we actually try to take deeper breaths into our stomach. We start taking long, deep and slow breaths. When you do that, then what you do is you use your diaphragm. Diaphragm is a thick muscle that sits just below your rib cage and just above your abdomen. It's a thick muscle which has no nerve cells, so you can't feel it, but it sits somewhere in the middle and it has 2 jobs to do. One, it gives you balance in your body, so the upper body and lower body balance is maintained by the diaphragm. And the second thing that diaphragm does is that it detoxes your body. So if you have excess cortisol building up in your body because of excessive stress, or you have high estrogen in your body, because this is the main problem with hormonal issues, is that there is a lot of estrogen building up in your body, then the diaphragm actually acts as a detoxifying agent. So when you take longer, deeper and slow breaths into your tummy, you use this diaphragm which goes down and up and down and up, and by this process it starts detoxifying your body. So using the diaphragm actually helps you to detox your body naturally, so you actually don't have to go on major detoxes. If you're doing proper pranayam and breathwork regularly, then you know that you're detoxifying your body naturally. The second thing that pranayam or breathwork does for you is that it improves your vagal tone. What is a vagal tone? So there is a vagus nerve which sits in your stomach, and via your heart it goes into your brain, and there is a continuous communication that happens between the gut and the brain. Now the vagus nerve, which actually connects the gut and the brain, actually has its own vagal tone. So it is seen in scientific experiments that if the vagus nerve's vagal tone is strong, the person is more happier, more joyful, and emotionally more stable. But if the vagal tone of the vagus nerve is low, then the person tends to be a little bit more depressed, has more mood swings, and emotionally a bit more vulnerable. So when we are doing pranayam or breathwork, what we do is we use a lot of stomach exercises. So we do something like Kapalbhati, in which we forcefully exhale, and we the stomach actually goes in and out again and again, and that then stimulates your vagus nerve, and it also improves the vagal tone of the vagus nerve. And that is the idea behind doing so many stomach exercises when you sit in pranayam, is that it helps in improving the vagal tone of the vagus nerve, and hence improves your overall mental well-being. The third thing that pranayam does is that, which has been scientifically again studied a lot, is that we have 5 liters of blood that circulates in our body, but other than that we also have 24 liters of capillary fluid which actually rotates in your body and is responsible for transporting important nutrients and oxygen through your capillary network to different parts of your body. Now it has been noticed that when people do 20 minutes of pranayam and they sit and do a lot of breath work, long, deep and slow breaths they take for 20 minutes, let's say, and continuation, and they have seen how their brain activity changes, they have seen that this fluid actually rises up like a wave in your body, and the important nutrients actually go into your brain. And as we age, we know that our brain slows down because it's not getting the nutrients that it needs. So when you sit and do pranayam for 20 minutes, then that wave of fluid that gets created actually sends the important nutrients towards your brain, and you start feeling vital and energetic. The fourth thing that it does is that it reduces your stress hormones. So cortisol is one of our biggest problem with hormonal issues. So if you have female hormone problems, then usually pretty much everybody will say that please reduce your stress levels, because that might be causing the PCOS or endometriosis or severe conditions like that. So we want to reduce the stress levels. Now when you sit and do pranayam, actually one thing obviously is that it detoxifying and getting rid of the excess cortisol from your body, but also it activates your parasympathetic nervous system. What is a parasympathetic nervous system? It is a system which activates your rest and restoration. Opposite to that is a sympathetic nervous system, when we are very alert, active, and almost like ready to go and attack. Now that is the mode that is on usually most of the time in our lives. We are always out there doing things, doing this, doing that, doing our jobs, hitting deadlines. So our sympathetic nervous system is always on. But when you start taking deep and longer breaths and start doing pranayam, then your parasympathetic nervous system gets activated, and that then reduces your stress levels down. So your stress levels starts going down, and your immunity, your rest, your restoration, your reproduction starts flourishing in that environment, because you are keeping the stress levels down and you're switching on your parasympathetic nervous system. Specifically for hormones, why does it work in balancing your hormones, and how does it do it? Is that we have a pituitary gland which sits in your brain, and we have ovaries which release the estrogen and progesterone, which are the main two hormones that we need, and we need the balance between these two for our reproductive hormones to flourish. Now these two hormones get released by the ovary, but the message they get is from the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is based in your brain. So when we are doing pranayam and it's actually working on your emotional well-being and your brain health, then automatically pituitary gland starts getting the right message and then starts producing the hormones in the right balance. Now also I want to explain this from the yogic science point of view. What does the yogic science say about pranayam and what it actually does to your body? So yogic science says that body has we have three types of bodies. One is physical body, one is mental body, and then on top of it sits our energy body. Now the energy body is what we call it usually the aura, or the general energy that you see around a person. When they enter the room, you can feel it. So when the energy is balanced, then the mental body and physical body is fit and vital. But when the energy body gets disbalanced, there's disbalance in your energy, that is when disease starts manifesting in the physical body and mental body. So the key is that if you keep the energy balanced, then you know that you can keep the diseases at bay. So how do we balance these energies? So according to yogic science, we have 72,000 energy channels. 36,000 of them go from the left side and 36,000 pass from the right side. So there are these energy channels which are called nadis, which actually have a pathway through your nostrils, and then they accumulate just under your tummy. That is why pranayam and breathing through nose in different ways actually balances your energy in a very good way. So when we do anulom vilom, where we inhale from left and we exhale from right, and when we inhale from right again and then exhale from left. So what are we trying to do over here? We are trying to balance the energy, the left energy to the right energy. And according to yogic science, the left energy is more feminine, it's more creative, more intuitive, more reproductive. So this is the area in which the reproduction flourishes. And then on the right side is your sun energy, or the masculine energy, or the go, push sort of energy, which is more dominant. Now, you don't want one energy to be more than the other. We want a good balance between them. We don't want too much of masculine energy and we don't want too much of feminine energy. So in order to balance this, we do something called an anulom vilom, or alternative nostril breathing, in which we are balancing both sides of energies. So when we start balancing the energies, then automatically we see that the disease then starts disappearing from your physical body and the mental body. Especially when we are looking to balance the hormones for women, then we tend to use a lot of exercises, breathing exercises, in which we are strengthening our left side, or more our feminine energy. Or there are certain people who are very depressed and they always keep thinking, and they do not express their feelings too much. So in their cases, the right energy is much weaker. So we try to do exercises in which we can strengthen the right side of our energy. Or there is just general energy disbalance, that we try to do more anulom vilom, or alternate nostril breathing, in which we try to bring the balance between the yin and the yang, or the masculine and the feminine, because that's what we know, that what is homeostasis, that is what we call the balance from within. That is going to happen when both energies get balanced, and pranayam does that for you very nicely. Again, needless to say that when you are taking deep and long breaths, your oxygen, your lung capacity is going to go up. The oxygen that circulates in your body will go up, so you will have a general increase in your energy levels anyway. But at a deeper level, it will work on your mental well-being, on your emotional well-being. It will make you a little bit more calmer. It will make you more productive. It will make you more creative, and it will give you more clarity in life as well. So this is what I had to talk about pranayam and the wonderful benefits and what is the science behind it. In my next episode, I'm going to be talking about basics of pranayam, how to do them correctly, how to breathe correctly, because most of us even don't know how to breathe correctly. So in my next episode, I'm going to be telling you about how to understand the basics of doing the breath work in a right way. I hope whatever I've discussed in this episode, you've liked it, and if you feel that this information is vital and for others, then please share it by all means with your friends. Like my video, subscribe to my channel, and please let me know what you feel about this video. Give us the feedback, and I will look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you.